Hello aviators, and welcome to your CFI course. Not much longer now, just a few lessons, a knowledge test, oral exam, and a quick check ride, and you'll be hanging out your sign as a certified flight instructor. Oh yeah, but really, you are very close now to one of the most challenging but rewarding times in your flying career. The best part about becoming a flight instructor is being able to share the gift of flight with someone else. Watching your student take off on their first solo flight will give you a sense of pride and satisfaction like you have never felt. It's going to take plenty of hard study because this course can be tedious. Lots of regulations and human factors for learning are involved in this course. But be patient, relax, and at the end of it all, remember we're really here to have fun. The flight instructor has many responsibilities, the most important being the duty of creating safe and competent pilots. This is achieved through clearly outlined guidance and regulations from the FAA. Flight instructors should help the student learn to fly by making the learning experience fun and engaging to keep the student motivated. The flight instructor must tailor their instruction to each individual student and analyze progress to help that student. So now, how do you think you can reduce student frustrations as an instructor? Well, this can be done by following these guidelines. Provide an outline with lesson plans and syllabus so students can measure their progress. Motivate the student. Students retain more information when they're engaged and motivated. Keep students informed of what is going on because people have a fear of the unknown. Treat the student like a real person so they feel included and give credit when credit is due. Give constructive criticism. Be consistent and admit your own faults. This builds trust. Now, you need to emphasize positive actions and results. And that happens when a flight instructor emphasizes the positive, not only the negative, which builds motivation and encouragement. You've also got to clearly illustrate the standards of performance required by the student. How? Well, by establishing the ACS standards so the student better understands the goal. Now, when a student learns to fly, there are both physiological and psychological factors that affect their learning process. During the first few lessons, students naturally find themselves in a condition of sensory overload. Just imagine trying to drink from a fire hose. So just how is the student being overloaded? Well, there's not only a motor skills requirement, flying the airplane or landing the airplane, but also a knowledge base we have to build in addition to that motor skills requirement. Now add on top of that the aspects of judgment and risk assessment. That's exactly why you, as a flight instructor, need to be aware of all of these challenges. Also, as a flight instructor, you need to be aware that every student is unique and different, and you must tailor your training technique to each specific student. Now, how do you do that? Well, by your presentation of the course content, the speed of your instruction, your repetition, and so on. As a flight instructor, you must clearly state the PTS or ACS standards required and communicate them to the student. You must also be able to demonstrate the required maneuvers within standards to the student. For example, by not performing a maneuver within standards or without an explanation of what went wrong, you're actually teaching the student bad habits and losing that student's trust. Success as a flight instructor requires professionalism. How do you achieve and maintain that professionalism? By always striving to become more knowledgeable, proficient, and current. In addition, You should always dress and act in a professional manner. Now, there are several ways to achieve this. By being sincere to build a relationship and trust with the student. By being accepting of the student. Remain understanding and willing to help the student achieve the goal of learning to fly. By acting and dressing in a professional manner to build trust. By having a positive attitude, avoiding contradicting speech, and establishing predictable patterns such as checklist usage. And by avoiding unprofessional behavior such as crude jokes or profanity. You should always use proper technical terms when explaining new lessons and different concepts to the student.